The GTA 6 leaker had been detained by federal agents. Rockstar had hired former defense officials to hunt them down. Their messaging channel had been raided. Those were the rumors racing around the internet this week. Not one has been confirmed by anybody. No arrest has happened. Nobody has been charged. No law enforcement agency has said anything at all. One of the biggest claims began as a joke posted by a parody account. There was still a real story underneath all of that noise. Take-Two Interactive took legal action through a federal court. Records were requested from two technology companies. A website briefly became unavailable. Community researchers followed a reported money trail. Those are separate events with different levels of evidence behind them. So this is not a story about a dramatic raid. It is about separating the 4 or 5 things that happened from the dozen things that did not. The rumors were fast and exciting. The real process is smaller, slower, and potentially much more dangerous for whoever is behind the alleged material. The real event happened on the 20th of August. Take-Two went to the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York and obtained subpoenas under copyright law. According to the filing, the stated purpose is, quote, to obtain the identity of an alleged infringer or infringers. The Sixth Axis reported the filing first, and Kotaku and other outlets later confirmed it. That sentence from the filing is careful for a reason. Take-Two is not telling the court that it has definitely identified a person and proved what that person did. It is saying that accounts hosted by other companies may contain records capable of identifying whoever allegedly distributed copyrighted material. In practice, Take-Two is asking the court to require those companies to hand over specific account information. Lawyers can then compare the records, look for common details, and potentially connect online activity to a real person. That is meaningful legal action. It is also civil discovery. It is not an arrest warrant, a criminal charge, or proof that any claimed footage is genuine. Neither Take-Two nor Rockstar has publicly authenticated the alleged GTA 6 material. The subpoenas are directed at Microsoft and Discord. According to reporting on the filing, Take-Two requested account identifiers, registration email addresses, internet protocol addresses, telephone numbers, and device identifiers. The requested period begins on the 1st of June this year. The reported response deadline is the 4th of September. Those fields matter because online identities are usually unmasked through combinations, not one magic piece of evidence. A registration email might connect to another service. An internet protocol address can point toward a provider or a general location. A telephone number may connect an account to a subscriber. A device identifier can show that activity on separate services came from the same hardware. None of those details alone automatically proves who operated an account, but several matching records can build a much stronger chain. A cloud storage account and a chat account are natural places to look when files are allegedly being stored, shared, or discussed. They can hold login records and registration data even when public posts reveal very little. But the action here is simple. Take-Two is asking Microsoft and Discord for records through a federal court. This is not police kicking down a door. It is not a raid. This distinction is the spine of the story because the internet blended 5 different actors into one imaginary operation. Rockstar is the studio making GTA 6. Take-Two is Rockstar's parent company and publisher. A federal court can issue legal orders. Private investigators are civilians hired to gather information. Law enforcement agencies investigate crimes, make arrests, and execute criminal search warrants. Only 2 of those actors have demonstrably done anything in response to this alleged leak. Take-Two applied for subpoenas and the federal court issued them. Take-Two has not hired private investigators based on any credible public evidence. Rockstar has not hired police. No police agency has announced an investigation, arrest, search, or charge. Nobody has been arrested. A civil subpoena is a legal instrument requiring records or testimony. It is not a police action. It can still become serious. Records produced through civil discovery might identify an account holder, support a lawsuit, or uncover evidence that is later referred elsewhere. But those are possible later steps, not events that have already happened. The court process deserves attention precisely because it is real. Turning it into a fictional raid only makes the real development harder to understand. The arrest rumor appears to have grown from roughly 1 day of quiet. The accounts associated with the alleged leaker stopped posting. A related channel also became unavailable, and nobody has confirmed why. That gap was enough for some followers to decide the person had been caught. There was no supporting statement from law enforcement, Take-Two, or Rockstar. Silence was treated as evidence anyway. Then on the 21st of August, another claimed leak appeared. Forbes reported that this seemed to end the rumors that the person had been caught. The shape of the reporting was straightforward. Followers had theorized that the spree was over, but that did not appear to be the case. Another reported release followed by the morning of the 22nd. Even the count is disputed. Some outlets describe the latest alleged release as the 6th, others call it the 7th. That disagreement is a useful warning. If reporters cannot agree on how many releases there have been, claims about an arrest based on a short posting gap should be handled with even more caution. Take-Two also moved against the website distributing the alleged material. The gamer reported that the site briefly went dark and displayed a blocked notice before returning. That sounds like a successful takedown until you look at the architecture. According to the gamer, the files were stored through a decentralized network. That means blocking one access point does not necessarily remove the underlying content. What disappeared was a route to the material, not necessarily the material itself. The route later returned. There is no need to describe how to find it. The important point is structural. A normal website may rely on one host that can remove files from its own servers. Decentralized storage can spread availability across a network, making any single takedown less decisive. That helps explain why this alleged leak has been harder to contain than previous GTA leaks. Take-Two can challenge public access points, send legal demands, and pursue account records. It cannot assume that blocking one page has erased every copy. The site going dark was real. The content being permanently destroyed was not. The cleanest piece of misinformation was the claim that Rockstar had hired former Pentagon officers to track the leaker. Sunday Guardian Live traced that story to a parody account on a social platform. The account posted the claim on the 19th of August. Sunday Guardian Live concluded that there was no credible evidence behind it. Rockstar did not announce such a team. Take-Two did not announce private investigators. No credible outlet produced contracts, names, or direct confirmation. A joke was copied away from its original context and repeated as reporting. This is how a rumor swarm works. People already expect a huge corporation to respond aggressively. Then somebody publishes a claim that fits that expectation. Screenshots travel faster than corrections, and each repost makes the story look more established than it is. By the time readers see the 5th version, the parody label is gone, and the imaginary officers have become part of the week's accepted history. They should not be. There are people trying to identify whoever is behind the alleged material. They are not retained investigators. GameRanks reported that a member of the Rockstar community launched their own investigation and says they passed their findings to unnamed authorities. That is their claim. The authorities have not publicly confirmed receiving anything, and no agency has announced action. Forum users have also been tracing reported payments and comparing blockchain activity. These are volunteers working independently. They were not hired by Rockstar or Take-Two based on any available evidence. A group associated with the hacktivist Collective Anonymous publicly mocked those volunteers for performing free detective work for a large corporation. That reaction became another part of the story, but it does not change the status of the research. Blockchain records can show that funds moved between wallets. Researchers may identify timing, amounts, and links between transactions. What a blockchain does not automatically reveal is the human being controlling each wallet. Moving from a wallet trail to a real identity usually requires records held by a service that knows its customer. That is where the money story becomes more important than the amateur detective drama. Independent tracing by community researchers and reporting by the Sixth Axis point toward proceeds from the token attached to this alleged leak moving through an exchange account that requires identity verification. The amount is not settled. One community estimate puts it at around $50,000. The Sixth Axis reported about $60,000. That difference should remain visible because these are estimates based on tracing, not an audited total confirmed by the exchange or Take-Two. The reported exchange connection is potentially serious for a simple reason. Identity-verified accounts normally require a customer to provide personal information before using certain services. If the reported trail is accurate, legal process directed at that exchange could potentially connect transactions to an account holder. That still would not automatically prove the account holder created the alleged leaks. Someone else could have controlled a wallet, received funds on another person's behalf, or moved money through an account they did not own. The transaction analysis could also be incomplete. We do not know. But an identity-verified exchange account is a much bigger problem for somebody seeking anonymity than a blocked website notice. A notice can interrupt access. Financial and account records can connect separate pieces of activity over time. This remains reporting and inference. It is not confirmed identification. Still, it is the strongest practical thread described this week because it may lead away from anonymous public accounts and toward records attached to a real customer. The next steps have dates attached. The reported deadline for Microsoft and Discord to respond to the subpoenas is the 4th of September. What they provide, whether any production is challenged, and whether the records identify anyone may not become public immediately. Civil legal work often moves quietly. Before that, Rockstar has its own scheduled gameplay reveal. An extended look is set for the 27th of August. The game itself is scheduled for the 19th of November. Rockstar has still issued no public statement of its own about the alleged leaks. Kotaku reported that the company still has not uncovered who is behind them or how that person allegedly gained access. That directly conflicts with the confident online claims that the mystery has already been solved. The only corporate executive heard speaking publicly on the subject this week was from Microsoft. He said Microsoft is working closely with Take-Two and Rockstar to support efforts to protect creative works and intellectual property. That is cooperation between companies. It is not confirmation of an arrest, a raid, or a criminal investigation. So the position is clear. Nobody has been arrested. Nobody has been charged. No law enforcement agency has said anything. Rockstar has not hired police. Take-Two has not hired private investigators. The alleged footage has not been publicly authenticated by Rockstar or Take-Two. The loudest stories this week were the fake ones. The quietest story was a court filing. And the quiet one is the only story with a deadline on it. So make sure you subscribe to the channel for more GTA news, updates, and guides. I will keep showing you the evidence, and I will keep telling you when we simply do not know.